For investors, same amount of money, same market exposure, almost identical ETFs. But over the last 12 months, one of them made roughly 8 to 9% more than the other. Not because they picked better stocks, but because of one detail most investors barely think about: currency hedging. And here's the twist. Over the last year, hedging helped. But over the last 5 years, that same decision was the wrong one. So which version of the ETF do you own? And more importantly, do you actually know what that means? In this video, I'll explain hedged versus unhedged ETFs in plain English, show you the actual 1 year and 5 year numbers, and give you a simple way to decide whether you should own hedged, unhedged, or both, because this one small detail can completely change your returns. So let's get into it. Part 1, hedged versus unhedged explained. So when you buy an ASX listed international ETF here in Australia, something like VGS, IVV, or NDQ, you're actually doing two things at once, whether you realize it or not. First, you are getting exposure to overseas shares. But second, you're also taking on currency exposure, because those assets are priced in US dollars or another currency. And when you eventually sell, that needs to be converted back into Australian dollars. And that conversion can work in your favor or against you, depending on what the exchange rate does. Here's a simple example. Say you put $100,000 into an unhedged US share ETF. If the US market rises 10%, you might think you made 10%, but if the Aussie dollar also rises 10%, that currency move can wipe out most of the gain when your investment is converted back into Australian dollars. Now flip that around. If the US market rises 10% and the Aussie dollar falls 10%, you get the share market return plus a currency boost. That is why unhedged ETFs can perform very differently from hedged ETFs, even when they own basically the same shares. So that is the currency effect. Now, an unhedged ETF keeps the currency exposure in. If the Aussie dollar moves, it affects your returns. With a hedged ETF, the fund manager uses currency contracts to try to strip out that effect. Your return is then driven mostly by how the underlying shares perform, not what the Aussie dollar happens to do. So the simple rule is this: if the Aussie dollar falls, unhedged investors get a currency boost, while hedged investors miss out on that boost. If the Aussie dollar rises, unhedged investors take a currency hit, while hedged investors are protected from that hit. That one rule explains almost everything that happened next. Part 2, why unhedged looked like the clear winner. If you look at the 5-year returns to around March 2026, unhedged ETFs beat their hedged equivalents across almost every major category, and not by a small margin. VGS, the Vanguard International Shares ETF, returned 74.7% over 5 years. VGAD, the hedged version of that exact same fund, returned 53.8%. That is almost a 21% gap from one simple decision. On the S&P 500, IVV beat IHVV by nearly 40 percentage points. And this was the same across most categories, with the exception of healthcare, where index construction differences between HLTH and drug dominated the currency effect. But here is what you need to know. Those results were almost entirely explained by one thing. The Australian dollar was weak and broadly falling for most of that 5-year period. From around 2011, when the Aussie dollar was sitting at parity with the US dollar, actually above parity at one point, it has been in a long decline. By late 2024, it had fallen all the way to around 63 to 64 US cents. Every year, the Aussie dollar fell a bit more. Your US dollar assets became worth a bit more in Australian dollar terms, on top of whatever the share market actually returned. So unhedged investors were not just winning because US shares did well, they were also getting a currency boost. Part 3, but then everything flipped. Now look at those same ETF pairs over just the last 12 months. VGAD beat VGS by 8.6 percentage points. IHVV beat IVV by about 8.4%. And it was the same across the other ETF categories too. Across every single pair tracked over the last year, the hedged version came out ahead. The average gap was around 8.5 percentage points in favor of hedged. Same markets, same companies inside them, completely flipped result compared to the 5-year picture. The reason was the Aussie dollar. It recovered from around 63 to 64 cents in late 2024 to around 70 cents by early 2026. And that single variable was worth about 8.5 percentage points per year. On a $500,000 portfolio, an 8.5 percentage point difference is more than $40,000. That is why this decision matters. Part 4, deeper into the Aussie dollar. So when you buy VGS, IVV, NDQ, or any unhedged global ETF, you are not just buying overseas shares, you're also making a bet on the Australian dollar. For the last 15 years, that currency bet mostly worked in your favor. The Aussie dollar has generally fallen, which boosted unhedged returns. But that tailwind may not be as strong from here. 4 things are now pulling in the other direction. Number 1, commodities are rising again. Gold, copper, LNG, and agricultural commodities have all been strong recently. And because Australia is a major commodity exporter, rising commodity prices usually support the Aussie dollar. That is exactly what helped drive the Aussie dollar from around 48 US cents in 2001 to above parity in 2011. Number 2, the interest rate gap is changing. The Fed has already cut rates from its peak while the RBA has turned firmer again. If Australian rates become more attractive than US rates, global money has more reason to flow into the Aussie dollar. Number 3, the Aussie dollar is still historically cheap. At around 70 US cents, it is still below its long-term average of roughly 75 cents. If it simply moves back toward that average, that currency move alone could wipe out a big chunk of returns for unhedged investors. Number 4, the US dollar may have peaked. The strong US dollar cycle was driven by aggressive Fed rate hikes, but if the Fed keeps easing, the US dollar strength starts to unwind. None of this means the Aussie dollar has to rise, but it does mean the risk has changed. After 15 years of unhedged investors benefiting from a falling AUD, that tailwind is no longer something you can just assume will keep working forever. Part 5, the hidden costs you are probably not counting. Now, before you rush into hedged ETFs, you need to know that hedging is not free. Hedged ETFs typically charge slightly higher management fees than their unhedged equivalents. As an example, VGS charges 0.18% per year. VGAD, the hedge version, charges 0.21%. Small difference, but fees compound just like returns do, and over 20 years that gap adds up. On top of the higher fee, there are also costs involved in rolling the currency contracts the fund managers use to do the hedging. Right now, the estimate is roughly 0.15 to 0.3% per year on top of the management fee. So in total, you're probably paying around an extra 0.2 to 0.3% per year for the certainty that hedging provides. On $100,000 over 20 years, that can kind of drag on compound returns by about $16,300. This number is not fixed. Hedging costs change over time as interest rates and currency markets change. That is not a reason to never use hedged ETFs, but it is a reason to make sure you are using them for the right reason and not just because they happen to do well over the past year. And speaking of keeping track of these numbers, this is exactly the kind of deep dive ETF analysis I cover in my weekly newsletter. I also run a model portfolio which is up 12.2% since 1 June 2025, compared to the ASX, which is only up 7.66. Click the link below to learn more. Part 6, which one should you choose? After all that, the easiest way to think about this is choose unhedged if you're a long-term investor. Unhedged usually makes sense if you're investing for 10 years or more. You want lower fees. You do not want to constantly think about currency. You are still working, still contributing, and not relying on the portfolio for income. Over long periods, the share market itself usually matters more than short-term currency moves. And there's one extra benefit for Australian investors. When the Australian economy struggles, the Aussie dollar often falls. And when the Aussie dollar falls, your unhedged international ETFs get a boost when converted back to Aussie dollars. So at the exact time your Aussie assets might be under pressure, your global shares can help soften the blow. That is why for long-term accumulators, unhedged is usually the default starting point. Choose hedged if currency risk actually matters to you. Hedged makes more sense if you're retired or close to retirement. You are drawing income from your portfolio. Your time horizon is shorter, say 1 to 3 years. You want your return to reflect the share market, not the exchange rate. And you think the Aussie dollar is going to keep rising because if you spend in Australian dollars, currency swings are not just numbers on the chart. They can affect the actual income you receive and the actual value of your portfolio. So hedging is really about certainty. You're giving up some flexibility and usually paying a slightly higher fee, but in return, your returns are less affected by the Aussie dollar moving up or down. Or you can just use both. You do not have to choose 100% hedged or 100% unhedged. You can own both. For example, instead of putting everything into VGS, you could hold 70% in VGS and 30% in VGAD. That way, if the Aussie dollar falls, most of your portfolio still benefits from the unhedged currency boost. But if the Aussie dollar rises, the hedged portion gives you some protection. So the real answer is not always hedged or unhedged. For many investors, the answer is probably mostly unhedged with some hedged exposure if the currency risk actually matters to your situation. So the biggest mistake is not choosing hedged or unhedged. The biggest mistake is not knowing which one you actually own. Now, the goal here is not to get this perfectly. The goal is to understand what exposure you actually have, make a conscious decision about whether that suits your situation, and stick with it. Now, if you want to go deeper on this and get regular analysis on specific ETF comparisons, plus access to the model portfolio I've been running since July 2025, which is currently up 12.2% since inception, compared to the ASX only up 7.66%, you can find it all in my weekly newsletter. The link is below. There is a free 4-week trial, no credit card required, and you can see everything that is on the inside before you spend anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.